undergraduate students, they don't pay a tuition fee.
Okay, okay.
For undergraduate students,
Yeah.
but for our masteral student and PhD, they have to pay, but lesser than De La Salle University.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a public university, and even though they have this, they have better equipment because they are private, but the way we deliver it, we try our best that it's surpassed than De La Salle University.
This is state university too. In Kudus is one of the state university. Yeah.
Mm.
But we under coordination in Ministry of Religion, not Ministry of
Okay. Oh.
Education and Culture, because some education in some education and the other in Ministry of Religion. Yeah. Okay, some of students have joined this Zoom meeting. We will, yeah. I think that the some of students register for this event. We will try. Maybe the operator will publish or share the profile of our institution first. Okay.
Today we have a meeting with Mandua Kudus. Prof Many, I am so sorry. And yesterday we have meeting with Thailand, the School of Thailand, with Miss Su, Miss Pam, Miss Pim, and Mr. Sakta. And we waiting you, but you not login again, Mr. Prof Many. We waiting you, but you login again.
Yes. Um,
This our student have a login. One by one.
how many students do you have? How many students will attend in this particular Zoom, Mr.
About
Ali?
2000, about
2,000.
2000,
Oh,
2080 84.
Hmm, so many. Okay. All of them are
There is a collaboration. Huh?
all of them are prospective teachers. 2000. Who will attend in this meeting?
This
Yeah.
meeting.
Who will attend? The 2008?
Astaga, 200,
200. Okay.
284.
Okay.
This our profile in screen, Prof. Manny.
Okay. Yeah. That's your school.
This of
Kudos.
icon of Kudu City.
Hmm.
This is our campus. Mr. Muhammad, the sound is not clearly.
The sound still not clear. Okay, we will try to repair.
Please, student to mute the device. Tolong yang masih belum di mute, para mahasiswa silakan di mute ya. Mohon mahasiswa di mute ya. Mas Mahrus, Fakultas Tarbiyah sudah siap jadi host?
Fakultas Tarbiyah sudah siap, Pak.
Oke, saya jadikan host, Mas.
Masih setting sebentar, Mas, untuk kameranya. Belum.
Oke, ya.
Sekali lagi, bismillah.
Di saja Mas Mahrus pengambilan videonya.
Nyala kamera.
Satu, dua.
Beda, Pak. Backgroundnya view pantai yang terkenal di sana. Ya.
Sudah siap?
Yes.
Bacanya salah. Tiba masuk
Lagi satu partisipan.
Oke, ready? Yang Fakultas Tarbiyah, ready belum?
Buka aplikasi ini.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me? I think there's no sound. Ah, yeah, okay.
Ya, pecah.
Bu yang di sana sudah siap, Bu ya? Ustaz Tarbiyah tak buat sini.
Andri,
Belum siap Pak, tinggal beberapa.
Just mulai Pak, keren mulai Pak. Ibu rumah ini. Satu, dua, tiga. Gosek.
Iya masuk.
Sebentar. Sebentar. Gosek.
Kita liburan ke pantai.
Dua, tiga.
Suara Bu ya masuk.
Kudus, salah satu kabupaten di wilayah Jawa Tengah yang memiliki julukan kota kretek atau kota santri. Kudus terkenal dengan falsafah Gus Jigangnya yang menjadi pedoman hidup mayoritas warganya. Gus memiliki makna budi pekerti yang bagus. Ji berarti pandai mengaji. Gang yang menunjukkan bagaimana masyarakatnya pintar berdagang. Kudus erat dengan napak tilas Wali Songo yang menyebarkan Islam di tanah Jawa, yaitu Sunan Kudus dan Sunan Muria. Tidak hanya pada perekonomiannya, Kudus juga menjadi daerah yang berkembang pesat di bidang pendidikan. IAIN Kudus menjadi institusi pendidikan bernuansa Islam yang menjawab tantangan semakin pesatnya perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi yang ada. Sebagai salah satu perguruan tinggi Islam negeri, IAIN Kudus hadir dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi Islam unggul di bidang pengembangan ilmu Islam terapan. Menggali potensi yang ada serta menilik kebutuhan masyarakat akan peningkatan kualitas pendidikan terutama bidang sains, IAIN Kudus menyelenggarakan program studi S1 Tadris Ilmu Pengetahuan Alam pada Fakultas Tarbiyah. Prodi Tadris IPA ini meramu visi keilmuannya untuk Kudus, salah satu kabupaten di wilayah Jawa Tengah yang memiliki julukan kota kretek atau kota santri. Kudus terkenal dengan falsafah Gus Jigangnya yang menjadi pedoman hidup mayoritas warganya. Gus memiliki makna budi pekerti yang bagus. Ji berarti pandai mengaji. Gang yang menunjukkan bagaimana masyarakatnya pintar berdagang. Kudus erat dengan napak tilas Wali Songo yang menyebarkan Islam di tanah Jawa, yaitu Sunan Kudus dan Sunan Muria. Tidak hanya pada perekonomiannya, Kudus juga menjadi daerah yang berkembang pesat di bidang pendidikan. IAIN Kudus menjadi institusi pendidikan bernuansa Islam yang menjawab tantangan semakin pesatnya perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi yang ada. Sebagai salah satu perguruan tinggi Islam negeri, IAIN Kudus hadir dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi Islam unggul di bidang pengembangan ilmu Islam terapan, menggali potensi yang ada serta menilik kebutuhan masyarakat akan peningkatan kualitas pendidikan terutama bidang sains. IAIN Kudus menyelenggarakan program studi S1 Tadris Ilmu Pengetahuan Alam pada Fakultas Tarbiyah. Prodi Tadris IPA ini meramu visi keilmuannya untuk menjadi program studi yang unggul dan kompetitif dalam pengembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi di bidang pendidikan IPA yang berorientasi pada penguasaan keterampilan abad ke-21 serta berwawasan Islam terapan yang humanis, aplikatif, dan produktif. Tadris IPA berupaya mencetak sarjana pendidikan IPA yang akan menjadi pendidik IPA yang profesional, tenaga laboran IPA, pengembang bahan ajar IPA, serta entrepreneurship yang relevan dengan bidang keIPA-an. Tadris IPA menghadirkan program-program pendidikan yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan pendidikan IPA di abad ke-21, studi penelitian yang relevan dengan kajian strategi nasional maupun internasional, serta aktivitas pengabdian masyarakat di bidang kependidikan IPA. Dalam penyelenggaraannya, Prodi Tadris IPA dilengkapi dengan beragam sarana dan prasarana yang representatif dan mampu menunjang beragam keterampilan para calon pendidik IPA di masa depan. Ruang kelas yang nyaman serta fasilitas-fasilitas laboratorium yang ada menjadikan penyelenggaraan
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'inu ala umuri dunya wad din. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Yang terhormat Rektor IAIN Kudus, yang pada kesempatan ini akan diwakilkan oleh Fakultas Tarbiyah IAIN Kudus, yang saya hormati Kepala Program Studi Tadris IPA Fakultas Tarbiyah IAIN Kudus Bapak Muhammad Nabil MPD MSc, yang saya hormati Bapak Ahmad Ali MPD selaku Kepala Program Studi Tadris Biologi Fakultas Tarbiyah IAIN Kudus, yang saya hormati Kepala Program Studi Tadris Matematika Fakultas Tarbiyah IAIN Kudus Bapak Arul Kohya MPD, dan tak lupa kepada para narasumber yang pada kesempatan pagi ini sudah hadir almarhum. Yang pertama, Dr. Monia Sari Ayulan, Dr. Amelia Kewa, Profesor Dr. Manuel D. Barbira dari Department of Science and Mathematics Education, College of Education, Indiana State University, Indian Institute of Technology, Philippines. Dan tak lupa seluruh mahasiswa KKL virtual Tadris IPA, Tadris Matematika
to the Honorable Rector of INTERNASIONAL, who's on this occasion will be represented by the Secretary of Biology Education Study Program and to the Honorable the Head of Biology Education Study Program, Mr. Ahmad Ali Fikri, to the Honorable the Head of Mathematics Education Study Program, Mr. Ahmad Kopiah Habibie, to the Honorable the Head of Science Education Study Program, Mr. Muhammad Imanuddin, and so to the Honorable our students today who was visited at the planetarium. There are the number one is Mr. Manuel Barabella, and number two is Mrs. Morea Salih Khairullah, and the last is Mrs. Amalia Puan. They are from Mindanao State University, Philippine. And don't forget to all our students from biology, mathematics, and then neuroscience, communication, who always see.
Puji syukur kehadiran Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala yang pada kesempatan pagi ini selalu memberikan rahmat dari Danya kepada kita semua. Sedemikian kita dapat melaksanakan hari ketiga KKL virtual Fakultas Tarbiyah IAIN Kudus dengan tema Glocalization of STEM, Learning towards Local Potential Based Project dalam keadaan sehat walafiat tanpa halangan suatu apapun. Dan tanpa salawat wassalam semoga selalu tercurah kepada Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam yang senantiasa kita nantikan syafaatnya dan diakui sebagai umatnya yang di hari kiamat. Amin amin Allahumma.
First of all, our beginning is very so that we can together at the Zealand. Zealand is the third day of analytical lecture, and we have the Glocalization of STEM learning project-based local project-based learning.
Baik, sebelumnya perkenalkan terlebih dahulu, mungkin untuk para mahasiswa sudah hafal karena ini merupakan hari ketiga, tapi kita ingin karena di sini speaker yang narasumber terbaru ada dari Filipina, perkenalkan kami bahwa let me try to introduce myself. My name is Filipina Tawani. You can call me Miss Filipina, and I'm accompanied with my guest partner, and in my side is Mr. Yeah, and my left side is
Mr. Henry.
ya. Selanjutnya kami juga ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada para mahasiswa kita yang pada kesempatan pagi ini sudah hadir. Yang pertama adalah Mrs. Dr. Munira. Hello, Miss.
Hello, Dr. Munira.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Munira.
Ya, dan selanjutnya ada Mr. Profesor Dr. Manda. Dan ada yang kedua adalah Mrs. Dr. Amelia. Ya, dan tanpa seluruh panitia, guru, dosen, staf dan yang lainnya sedemikian acara ini dapat terlaksana sampai hari ketiga dan semoga jajaran kita bisa amal baik untuk
Yeah. And I want to say welcome for Dr. Munira Salih. Good morning, Dr. Munira Salih, and we have Dr. Amelia juga as a Chief of Knowledge of Education, and we have Prof. Meni, Prof. Manuel from Indonesia State University. This is for your information. This is the third day of our session in Fieldwork, and it is the part of our course of online Fieldwork lecture. So this is the third day. In first day we go to Indonesia. We visit one school in Indonesia, and secondly we visit two schools in Thailand. And this is the different because today we will visit with the university. What is university?
So amazing ya. Oke, sebelumnya kami akan membacakan susunan acara. Yang pertama yaitu pembukaan, yang kedua sambutan, yang pada kesempatan ini nanti akan disampaikan oleh salah satu dari orang-orang fakultas kita, ada Pak Ibu Jamal Diri NPD ya. Dan ketiga ada pemaparan materi, 4 Pertanyaan jawab ada diakhiri dengan penutup.
The order of the session today is number one is first session. Our first session is opening, and then the second session is reading all the speech from our rector. That on this occasion will be presented by the Secretary of University Education Study Program, and then the third my session. This is a presentation from our shop. Then the fourth session is discussion. So our student can give information for our student, and then the last session is technical and then the very last is for closing.
Baik, untuk kita mulai acara pada pagi hari ini dengan membaca basmalah bersama-sama. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Selanjutnya acara yang kedua yaitu sambutan dari pihak Fakultas Tarbiyah dan Ilmu Khusus. Kepadanya Bapak Indonesia MPD saya persilakan.
Next, we will get the second session. Second session for reading from the representative of Faculty of Education for Mr. G. Time is yours.
Okay. Hello. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'du. The Honorable Director and Vice Rector IAIN Kudus Institute of State Islamic Religion and Dean and Vice Dean IAIN Kudus, the Honorable the Dean and Speaker from Mindanao State University, Indigenous Institute of Technology, Philippine, the first Miss Dr. Monera Asalik Hairula, the second Mr. Prof. Dr. Manuel Barquila, the third Mrs. Dr. Amelia Tebuan. Manganda umaga ini. Good morning all speakers.
Morning. Magandang
Okay,
umaga.
yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Ya, mengandang umaga ya, kalau di Indonesian spoken selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Okay, Mr. Thank you. The Honorable Lecturer in the study program of Natural Science Education, Biology Education, and Mathematics Education has organized to be success in this agenda. The proud of all students who take part in the Fieldwork learning activity. Let us together we thank to Allah, God the biggest, who has been given blessing and smooth even so far not significant problem. Fieldwork lecture activity were carried out in virtually or online in 3 locations in Indonesia school, Thailand school, and the Philippine school. Philippine University. With attention and new adaptation to the effect of the pandemic COVID-19. For us, this Fieldwork lecture or KKL become a special program. We would like to thank the Dean and Speaker from Indigenous University, Indigenous Institute of Technology, Philippine, for this opportunity and collaboration. Hopefully, this activity can be a follow-up program for collaboration in education and research. We feel the need to learn experience at Mindanao State University. We are aware one of the skills needed in the 20th century is collaboration. So with this we hope that we can work together, provide experience and knowledge information in the fields of education. we realize that collaboration is the key to improving the quality of education. I reply, we realize the collaboration is the key, improving the quality of education. Collaboration is art communication. Collaboration is art cooperation. Collaboration is to build advance in education. So it is important for students to continue improve the collaboration skill between friends, between school, between other country. Therefore, we hope that all participants can take inspiration from the educational experience in school Indonesia, education in Thailand, or education university in the Philippines. Finally, that is greeting from Faculty of Tarbiyah. I'm sorry if we have mistaken in the greeting. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
ini menarik ya, karena 3 narasumber kali ini adalah profesor dan ahli di bidang STEM ya. Jadi Prof. Dr. Emi is is the Dean of College of Education. Jadi Dr. Amin adalah dekan Fakultas Sarjana kalau di sini, dekan Fakultas Pendidikan. Kemudian ada Prof. Meni, bidang ajarnya sebenarnya adalah biologi, tapi juga bergelut aktif di bidang STEM juga. Dan satu lagi ada ketua jurusannya, yaitu Bapak Korea. Jadi can say hello for Filipina. Apa ya?
Karena kita tanya.
Nanti kita langsung saja ya.
Sapaan awal kita bertemu dengan beberapa orang.
Maybe from the Philippines and we can learn how to say hello, how to say selamat pagi, how to say good morning.
Itu bahasa Indonesia seperti apa?
Ya.
Maybe we can more about the program of our course.
Karena semakin sekali tahu bahwa profil dari ketiga narasumber ini luar biasa banyak. Ya, nanti akan dibacakan Pak Edi. Sebelumnya kita bisa tampilkan dulu untuk CV-nya.
Can you show the
Yang pertama ada Dr.
Menenopers dan Dr. Manuel Bertuela and the last
Profesor Dr. Manda, kemudian Dr. Amelia. Oke, sudah tahu kan wilayah.
The first one I will read the series from Dr. Indonesia. Nama beliau adalah Mengera Asal dari ISI. Kemudian tanggal-tanggalnya 30 Desember, tapi di sini tidak dicantumkan tahunnya ya. Kemudian beliau juga nikah, anaknya beliau punya anaknya ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Namanya Mary, Nadima, Kristi, Surabaya, dan Laila. Maaf ini agak lama ya. Beliau kepala sarjana di PhD Pendidikan Sains di SMSU itu singkatan dari Mindanao State University. Pada tahun 2019 jurusannya kemudian Master of Science itu MSc dari University of Philippine pada tahun 2002 jurusan biologi juga. Kemudian dia nanya di University of Pendidikan jadi MSc dan kalau di MBD. Beliau mengambil MBD di FSU, yaitu di alma tempat kerja beliau juga di Jakarta pada tahun 1991. Kemudian dikasih nyanyiannya. Kalau yang Profesor Dr. Manuel Bertuela. Beliau adalah profesor 6 dari pendidikan biologi. Profesor 6 itu maksudnya apa?
Ada STEM lagi. Oke, nanti kita tanya langsung aja.
Kemudian institusi sudah 13 dari University. Kemudian bidang-bidangnya Sargasum, anak biologi ya. Sargasum. Kemudian presentasi dulu, kemudian pelajaran sensor, kemudian pengembangan pendidikan sains, terus masalah budaya dan sains. Kemudian ini yang nyamuk. Oh ya, profesor budayanya dari titik nyamuk yang setiap belajar dulu itu bisa mengadakan sarana jadi profesor. Terus yang lainnya adalah assessment dan kurikulum. Untuk pembelajaran ini kalau saya dulu, kayaknya tidak perlu di.
Mas kalau misalnya dijelaskan Pak Hinci sampai nggak bisa baca semuanya.
Untuk kualifikasi pendidikannya S1 zoologi di dari S1 sampai doktor itu di Milano State University. Dan yang unik, beliau itu kan biologi ya. Terakhir kali beliau itu mengambil kuliah doktor di hukum.
Ini ya, wow, multi-talent kalau bagi saya. Luar biasa ilmunya.
Oke. Kemudian mungkin itu saja dari
terakhir
yang
ada dari Dr. Amelia
Tebon. Beliau riwayat pendidikan langsung ya dari program pasca sarjananya, PhD-nya dia di Universitas Pendidikan Filipina loh di Indonesia kan. Indonesian University of Philippine. Kemudian Master of Art in Mathematics Education.
Bagian saya.
Ini matematik.
Bagian saya.
Di sini ada artnya.
Itu hukum ya.
Kemudian
coba tanya.
Oke, untuk sarjananya dia S1 pendidikan di MSU juga. Jadi ketiganya ini kayaknya tidak bisa lepas dari Monret Milano State University dari S1. Dan memang ibu ini dapat penghargaan itu juga loh. Wow, terbaik juga loh.
Sekali kalau kita jadi tahu sudah cerita pada pagi hari ini. Sudah cukup Pak Henry? Sudah saya. Oke.
Langsung saja untuk pematerinya. I want to say hello first for Dr. Monera because the first speaker is Dr. Monera. Dr. Monera will present the presentation, but before Dr. Monera present the presentation, we will present the link that the Dr. Monera shared to us. Yeah, we will share the link that that Dr. Monera sent to us first. Silahkan di-chat. We will share screen for the link YouTube first from the Dr. Monera.
Mungkin saya pengen menyapa dulu. Assalamualaikum Dr. Monera. Good morning.
Good morning. Assalamualaikum. Before I will start, Muhammad, can you please share the link?
Yeah, we will share the link first. Okay, wait.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, we are still with the operator.
Ya, saat ini sedang mencoba untuk ditampilkan materi dari Dr. Monera. Ini menjadi materi pertama. Kita saksikan dulu untuk profil institusi ya.
How will I know if I can go farther from where I am? If I don't push myself to make my dreams do come true. For years of thought and struggle, it shook my brain and spirit. This time I deserve a break, even just a smile. Mama, look at me now with that same loving care. What I've become is the fruit of what you sowed. Papa, thank you for the many sacrifices. Your guidance and patience made me who I am. I'm not ready and prepared to face the world. I'm ready to be world class. Armed with the knowledge from my IT, I'm ready to go beyond. I'm not ready and prepared to face the world. I'm ready to be world class. Armed with the knowledge from my IT, I'm ready to go beyond. To my friends who accepted me for who I am. For years we shared together the laughter and the tears. I'll never forget you, or you are tired in my heart. Thank God I have you guys to always complete my day. And how can I forget my thoughtful mom and sir? Their talents nurturing help me fulfill my dreams. Back to my institution, IIT. I take pride to tell the world I am from IIT. I'm not ready and prepared to face the world. I'm ready to be world class. Armed with the knowledge from IIT, I'm ready to go beyond. I'm not ready and prepared to face the world. I'm ready to be world class. Armed with the knowledge from IIT, I'm ready to go beyond. Prepared to face the world. I'm ready to be world class. Armed with the knowledge from IIT, I'm ready to go beyond. I'm not ready and prepared to face the world. I'm ready to be world class. Armed with the knowledge from IIT, I'm ready to go beyond. I'm not ready and prepared to face the world. I'm ready to be world class. Armed with the knowledge from IIT, I'm ready to go beyond. Whoa, 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 I made it. Oh, whoa, whoa, thank you, IT. I take pride to tell the world I am from IIT. Oh, whoa, whoa, I made it. Oh, whoa, whoa, thank you, IT. I take pride to tell the world I am from IIT. I take pride to tell the world from MSU IIT.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most merciful and compassionate. I have the honor to present to you the profile of Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology, Philippines. Our school, Iligan Institute of Technology, is one of the 11 campuses of Mindanao State University, and the mandate of Mindanao State University is to integrate the the Filipino Muslims, the Christians, and nomads in Mindanao. So here in the Philippines, this is a map of the Philippines. We have three major islands, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And our school is located in Mindanao, and particularly in Iligan City. So here, our school is located here. Thank you, Kami. So, this is the initial IIT geographic map location. So, actually, this is the national highway. So, here going to Cagayan de Oro City, and this is going to Lanao del Norte or Lanao del Sur. So, our school is located here. As I said a while ago, it is called the Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology, and this is the logo of our school. So we have our vision, a university development of individual and society. That is the vision of MSU IIT, and our mission is to provide quality education for the development of Mindanao and through relevant programs in instruction and research, extension, and community engagement. And in here, we have the core values that every individual here in IIT should have these core values: excellence, accountability, integrity, and teamwork. Those are the core values of MSU IIT. So I will give you a brief history of MSU IIT. It was established in July 12, 1968. But before that, in 1956, Iligan City High School was transformed into school by Republic Act 1562, and in 1965 made into a vocational school and renamed as Northern Institute of Technology or NMIT through RA 4626. 1968, Republic Act 5363 renamed the Northern Institute of Technology to Iligan Institute of Technology, integrated it as a unit of Mindanao State University. So this is the year that we started to belong or under the MSU system. As I said a while ago, that MSU or the Mindanao State University has 11 campuses, and IIT is one of those 11 campuses in the university system of MSU. So for the academic degree programs, we have a total of 80 academic degree programs. So we have 45 graduate academic degree programs. And then for the undergrad, we have 36 academic degree programs. So we have a lot of graduate academic programs in our university, in IIT. So these are the programs for the doctoral degree. So for example, we have the Doctor of Philosophy in Language Studies, Doctor of Philosophy in Filipino, Doctor of Business Administration, and then in Science Education. This is the doctoral that we have implemented in our college, and particularly in the Department of Science and Mathematics Education. We have also the Doctor of Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Biology, Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Science, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, Doctor of Philosophy in Mathematics, Doctor of Mathematics, Doctor of Philosophy in Physics, Doctor in Sustainable Development Studies, Doctor of Philosophy in Statistics, Doctor of Philosophy in Marine Science, Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Science. Detailed, not actually some note on our program, which is the Doctor of Philosophy in Science Education. So ongoing, we have the major chemistry, and then maybe next semester we will be also implementing the Doctor of Philosophy in Science Education, major in Biology and Mathematics. So these are the objectives for this program. First, we have to produce experts in science education.
Ada konfirmasinya. Ada konfirmasinya. Sudah.
Okay, so can you hear me? Okay, so these are the objectives for the Doctor of Philosophy in Science Education. Okay. So for the Master of Arts, Master of Science, and we have 31 degree programs, and these are the programs for the masteral degree. For example, the Master of Arts in English Language Studies, the Master of Arts in Filipino, Master in History, Master of Public Administration, Master of Arts in Sociology, Master of Business Administration, Master of Arts in Education, Master of Science in Physical Education, Master of Science Education. So this is the masteral in our department, the Master of Science Education. Then we have also the Master of Science in Civil Engineering, Master of Science in Electrical Engineering, Master of Engineering, and Master of Biology, Master of Science in Biology, Master of Science in Environmental Science, Master of Science in Marine Biology, Master of Science in Chemistry, Master of Applied Statistics, Master of Mathematics, Master of Science in Mathematics, Master of Science in Statistics, Certificate in Physics, Master of Science in Physics, Master of Science in Computer Application, Master of Science in Computer Science, Master of Science in Information Technology, in Culture and Earth Science Studies, Master in Sustainable Development Studies. And as I said a while ago, we are preparing for the Master of Science Education, and we have this major. We have MSciEd, major in Biology, MSciEd, major in Chemistry, MSciEd, major in General Science, MSciEd, major in Elementary Mathematics, and MSciEd, major in Secondary Mathematics. And these are the objectives of this program. The Master of Science Education program of the Department of Science and Mathematics Education aims to upgrade teachers in the areas, namely instruction, research, and extension. Specifically, it is to enhance competence of science and mathematics teachers in content and pedagogy and make their training relevant to the needs of the community, develop in them understanding of the relatedness of sciences and their application to daily living, and enhance their relationship qualities and capabilities in science and mathematics education research. So I hope some of your students, for example, your pre-service teachers, and if they can complete their degree, they can enroll to this program of our department. And for CAS, this is actually one of the colleges in our university, College of Arts and Social Sciences, and these are the following undergraduate programs they are offering. And then for the CBAA, the College of Business Administration and Accountancy, we also offer these programs, undergraduate programs. We have five, for example, the Bachelor of Science in Accountancy, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Bachelor of Science in Economics, Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management, Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship. So here is our college. So in our college, we have five undergraduate academic degree programs. So we offer Bachelor of Secondary Education, Bachelor of Elementary Education, Bachelor of Technology and Livelihood, Bachelor of Technical Vocational Teacher Education, major in Drafting Technology. And in our department, of course, we belong to the College of Education. And in the College of Education, we have five departments: the Department of Physical Education, the Department of Professional Education, the Department of Science and Mathematics Education. This is our department. Then we have also Department of Teacher Education. And in our high school, the senior high school and junior, it is also belong to the College of Education, or what we call the Integrated Developmental School. So in our department, we offer elementary education, the Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in Science and Mathematics. So it is really a vertical specialization because we are belong to science and math. That is why our program also are science and mathematics education. For the bachelor degree, we have Bachelor of Secondary Education, and we have this major: biology, chemistry, general science, mathematics, physics, and now we are planning also to offer the Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Earth and Space Science. Okay, so these are the bachelor degree of the College of Engineering and Technology. Maybe I will not read that anymore. But you know, our engineering and technology are very strong in terms of the content, and um, all of them actually passed the engineering exam, and some of them also during the what is this the licensure, some of the students obtain a top notch, or they are top notchers in the exam for engineering. By the way, also for the College of Education, for the CSM, this is College of Science and Mathematics. This is one of the college also of MSU IIT, and they offer these programs. We have Bachelor of Science in Biology, Bachelor of Science in Marine Bio, Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Bachelor of Science in Statistics, and Bachelor of Science in Physics. So they have 6 undergraduate programs in CSM. We have also in our university, we have also Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And then we have also the College of Computer Studies, and they offer this undergraduate program, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Bachelor of Science in Computer Applications, Bachelor of Science in Information Systems, and Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. So for the academic staff profile, we have a total of 527 staff, support staff. And then for the educational highest attainment, and then for our students enrolled, we have 8,071. During as of 2018 to 2019, last semester, we have these students. So we have 289 male and we have 745 female, no? So this is the enrollment profile in our school. So for the doctoral, we have 289. So this one, 289 students. And then for the masteral, we have 745 students. For the baccalaureate or undergrad, we have 7,037 as of academic year 2018-2019. Our school also has this level of accreditation. We are now for our Bachelor of Science in Elementary, we are in level 3. And for the Bachelor of Secondary Education, we are in level 4. We are accredited by the Accrediting Agency of Chartered Colleges and Universities in the Philippines, or what we call the AACOP. Okay, so as I said a while ago, so these are we are now in level 4 for Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Biology, Chemistry, General Science, and Mathematics, so level 4. For the elementary, we are in level 3. So in our university, in MSU IIT, there are 7 centers of excellence. So biology, chemistry, mathematics, physics, and of course our college, the teacher education. So we are center of excellence granted by the Commission on Higher Education. And then for the centers of development, there are 11, the ceramics engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering, metallurgical engineering, electrical engineering, information technology, marine sciences, statistics, Filipino history, and sociology. Okay, so these are the research laboratories in engineering. We have the Bioprocess Technology Lab, Functional Polymers Laboratory, the Supercritical Fluid Engineering Lab, Renewable Engineering Generation Lab, the Microelectronics Laboratory, the Electronics Communication Lab, Ceramics Research Lab, the Pyrometallurgy Laboratory, Robotics Instrumentation and Control Engineering Laboratory. And then we have also the research group in the sciences and mathematics, the nanoscience group, the biotechnology group, natural products and drug development group, complex system group, renewable energy group, climate change research group, the biodiversity group, applied mathematics and statistics group, the theoretical science group. And I think Dr. Muhammad shared to us that there are some plants there in your area that can be studied, not so we can, because we have here in our university we have the natural products and drug development group, and also we can use this, the biodiversity group. So I hope we have a collaboration research on that area. So these are some of the membership that we have in other countries. Okay. So, okay, like the member of Asian University Network, Southeast Asia Engineering Education Development Network, the founding member and member of the board, Asia Technological University, or the ATU Network, delivering institution of the CHED Faculty Development Program, Resource Distribution Center of the UNESCO, Bangkok, Asia and Pacific Regional Bureau of Education, delivering institution of the Asian Institute of Management, Team Energy Center, Mindanao Bridging Leadership Program, the Center of Excellence in Municipal Studies and Research Center in Mindanao, then the National Computer Center Training Arm in Northern Mindanao, the Center of Excellence in Biodiversity Conservation. Okay, we have also the first Natural Substance Center for Mindanao, the Toklas Lona Center. So these are some of the recognition granted by researches granted by the DOST or the Department of Science and Technology. Like the delivering institution of the Department of Science and Technology is our Education Institute, and in our department, we have called the DOSCCI under the CBPSME scholarship. So our students, actually, master students right now, we have 83 graduate students who have this scholarship. And don't you know, every month they have a stipend of 25,000 for the masteral, and then for the PhD, they have a stipend of 33,000 with 10,000 book allowance every semester. And they have also the privilege to the DOST pay their tuition fee, miscellaneous, and other expenses. So, and we have that scholarship under the DOST. So these are some of the recognition granted by the DOST. So, dagan salamat sa pagpaminaw. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you all.
Thank you. God bless you too.
If you have questions, maybe you can ask after, or I don't know what would be the decision of the moderator, but I am accepting some questions regarding the programs of our institute, and particularly in the Department of Science and Mathematics Education. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, good morning. Yes, good morning. Okay. Good morning. Yes. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
I can.
Yes, here. Yes, I'll just share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can I start?
I can. Okay,
Yes.
please.
Okay. Okay. So my greetings to the faculty and officials of CODOS and to the students who are part of this conference. My presentation is focused on the policies and status of STEM education in the Philippines. And my talk will be on the policies in the Philippines in relation to STEM education. And then I will be proceeding to the present curriculum, the K-12 curriculum, and then I will be discussing also the status of STEM education in the Philippines, and I will share a little of how we capacitate our faculty and students in STEM education. So the legal basis of our educational system is our constitution, the Philippine Constitution. We have the 1935 Constitution, and then evolving it to change it to in 1972, there is a revision. And the latest that we have is the 1987 Constitution. In this 1987 Constitution, it is emphasized mandates about education. It is stipulated in Article 14, particularly in Section 1 to 5, which focus on education. And then one specific item in the Philippine Constitution, particularly also in Article 14, in Section 10 on science and technology related to STEM. So basically, uh, our Constitution spell out what is the mandate, the laws that we have to follow in education. In Section 1 of the Article 14, it stipulates that uh, education education should be accessible uh, to all levels, and it must be complete, adequate, and integrated system of education. It must be free in public education in elementary and high school levels, and there must be scholarship grants, especially to the underprivileged. And the mandate also, the law also provide that it should encourage non-formal, informal, and indigenous learning system. It inculcates um, patriotism and nationalism and respect for humanity. Its mandate is the most important thing that that is striking in this law is that the the schools should provide critical and creative thinking, and broaden scientific technological knowledge and promote efficiency. Religion is also given chance to be taught in school, particularly in public elementary and high school within the regular class hour, and there must be recognition of complementary rules of public and private institution in educational system. In Section 5, it stipulates that the state shall into account take into account regional and sectoral needs and condition, and shall encourage local planning and development of educational policies and program. And it is also emphasized in Section 5 academic freedom. Academic freedom should be enjoyed in all institutions of higher learning, and every citizen has a right to select a profession or course of study, and also enhance the right of teachers to professional advancement, and the state shall assign the highest budgetary priority to education and ensure that teaching will attract and retain its rightful share of the best available talents through adequate remuneration and other means of job satisfaction and fulfillment. Section 10 spell out science and technology as essential part of national development and progress, and it emphasizes scientific and technological capabilities and their application to countries' productive system and national life. All of this is all of these mandates of our constitution somehow aligned. This can be achieved and are aligned in the context of STEM education. And basically, STEM education has a right in our educational system. So I will now move to the next the next topic on curriculum, the K to 12 curriculum that is implemented in the Philippines. The K to 12 curriculum implemented in the Philippines is aiming for a holistic development and acquisition of 21st century skills. It is seamless. That means there is a continuum from kindergarten to grade 12 and to technical, vocational, and higher education. It is also enhanced and streamlined. That means it enhanced all levels in current curriculum, given more focus to allow mastery of learning. It is also focused on strengthening the core subjects like mathematics, science, languages, which is the main focus of the program. And somehow, it allows livelihood readiness for students. Students are specializing through a particular track with immersion, and they are given a sort of national certificate. Our K to 12 curriculum started in 2012 to 2013. Therefore, our first graduate was on school year 2017 to 2018, 2 years ago. Therefore, our students are now on their second year college. In our curriculum, elementary has a kindergarten and has grade 1 to 6, which allows 7 years to finish. And then we have junior high school, grade 7 to 10. Grade 7 to 8 is more on exploratory technology, livelihood education, while grade 9 to 10 is more specialized to technology, livelihood education. That is 4 years and another 2 years for senior high school. I would like to emphasize that our senior high school has tracks. These tracks are academic tracks, technical, vocational, livelihood tracks, sports, arts, and design. If you try to look at it, the STEM science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is just one track of the academic strand or academic tracks. Uh, that means if you are a student who wants to be majoring later on in management or accountancy or related to business, you need to enroll in a tracks like EBM. And if you want to enroll in college, you want to be part of uh, you are in the arts aspect, then you have to enroll in an academic tracks, humanities, and social sciences. But if you want to be a scientist, an engineer, a mathematician, or a technologist, then you need to enroll in STEM. And somehow, if you are not yet sure of what you are going to enroll, then you have to enroll in a college, then you have to enroll in general academics, which means you can enroll in either EBM, humanities, or STEM, and so on and so forth. What is being emphasized here, what I would like to emphasize here is that STEM is just a track. It's just one of the track in high school. It's not an approach, but a track. It's just a sort of a program that somehow develops students into developing into an engineers, a technologist, a scientist, and mathematician. I will go that one later, and I have to move now. So we have to look at then what's the status of STEM education in the Philippines. Earlier, I emphasized STEM as a track, but we are now on what's actually the status of STEM education in the Philippines. As I mentioned, STEM is just a track in our educational system. So I would like to emphasize this interview from one of the noted couple, physicist and a science educator, Doctors Victoria and Chris Bernido, who are interviewed by EduTech Philippines in one of the um, conference. And they asked the questions, what's the current status of STEM teaching in the Philippines? And the answer is that what the status is similar to others, whether rich and or poor countries. But the most important thing, the answer is that there is a lack of qualified and mature STEM teachers in both urban and rural areas. That means when faculty are lacking and the experienced teachers are lacking, that means our STEM education needs to be strengthened in terms of faculty development program. And basically, when we ask about what are the obstacles currently being faced, there is a sort of teachers migration. We are now, I think this is a very long problem in the Philippines, because once we train our teachers into a very good teachers, they migrate to other countries because we cannot pay as much as the other countries can pay in their services as teachers. And so there is what we call as brain drain in our country. Some of the teachers, science teachers in particular, are going, the good and the best teachers are going into other countries. And that's one of the difficulty that we have. And that's why we need to strengthen our teachers, particularly the prospective teachers, because these are the teachers that eventually teaching the STEM education. Well, basically, we have a lot of teachers, but for science teachers, we need to have a very qualified science teachers to man the STEM education in the Philippines. So those are just answers of some of the noted or some science educators. But I have my own evidence to show that why there is a need for improvement in our STEM education. On matters of teachers teach STEM education, there was a study conducted by the Alliance of Concerned Teachers, And aside from, well, there is a brain drain, no? There's a brain drain happening in the Philippines. Some good teachers are going into the other countries and then teach there, and because they have more, they are paid very good there in other countries. Aside from that, one interesting study was that of the Alliance of Concerned Teacher, wherein, uh, according to them, out of 166,576 teachers, only about 4,044 or 5,643 are somehow indulged in science education. Based on the data that when the students are interested and they want to study STEM, study science education, only out of 3,008, for example, in this case, out of 3,877, only 2,502 is qualified to be part in the program of science education. And those who are in general, for example, out of 76,000 who want to enroll in science education, 30,843 are capable, but only 5% will go into science education. So basically, uh, only few. And then if you have here students who are really capable, out of 1,332, because some are now involved in other program, only 1.2% are somehow go into science education. So a total only of 5,643. This is less. The critical mass is the critical mass for science education is actually very much needed. That's why the science and technology Department of Science and Technology is promoting science education as a course to be given scholarship. So that's one of the problem that we see in improving our STEM education in the Philippines. Another thing that I would like to emphasize is that in the Philippines, considering that the decision is given to the DepEd, uh, one is striking things here is that STEM education is just a track. And when you say it's just a track, it's simply just a component of the senior high school, those who want to involve in science and mathematics education. But what is important here is that the subjects are not integrated, meaning they are actually multidisciplinary approach in here. So there is a separate subject for mathematics, for sciences, and somehow application research, for example, are independent to each other. So the program in elementary in high school is multidisciplinary. But what we need is transdisciplinary. Okay, transdisciplinary. What is transdisciplinary? How is it different from multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary and that transdisciplinary? Now, considering that the STEM education is a track and not an approach, the subject is independently handled, meaning science, math, research, applied science are independent to each other, and therefore STEM is just multidisciplinary, meaning independent to each other. What we need is transdisciplinary, wherein science, technology, engineering, mathematics can be applied in one program. And we call that one as transdisciplinary. In fact, it's the program in DepEd that we have now is not even interdisciplinary, meaning somehow one subject is connected to each other and come up with some sort of a course that. So there is a difference then between multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and what we need in STEM education is transdisciplinary, where if we can integrate science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, that is actually the context in STEM approach. And not as a track. I think everybody and everywhere in this count in our in global community, we have a challenge on uh, the challenge about today's generation. Who are this generation now? They are the generation Z and the rest of those that are part of the new generation, and they have some characteristics. The learners are different, and so we have technologically advanced now, and all of those things, and we really need the skills, the 21st century skills that are needed for this centuries, this 21st century. And aside from that, we need to consider the socio-scientific issues like climate change. All of these are necessary. And this somehow need the STEM education that we need, which is transdisciplinary, is necessary in order that this global challenge can be sustained, no? And therefore, in this particular age, we need to have an education for sustainable development. We call it as a STEM, sustainable education, wherein the society, the environment, the society, the environment, and the economy must merge and somehow come up with sustainability. What we mean by sustainability is that avoidance of depleting natural resources to meet today's needs without sacrificing access to those resources in the future. That means there must be the resources that we have should somehow be still enjoying by the future generation. And STEM education is necessary in order that we can have this sustainability. That's why we need to develop our teachers and our students to come up with how to obtain sustainable development. And STEM education is an important aspect of developing our students and teachers in order that we can attain sustainability in our society. So there must be sustainable development, and the answer is STEM, sustainable development, STEM education, sustainable development. Okay, and with this, I hope if that will be attained, the 17 goals to transform our world will be attained. There will be no hungry, zero hunger, and so on and so forth. These 17 goals are the goals of the World Health, the United States, United Nation, in order that we can come up with sustainability in the future. And as I've said, STEM education at transformative, transdisciplinary STEM education is necessary, and we need to inculcate that in our educational system in the Philippines. But at the moment, we are still on the multidisciplinary approach in our STEM education. So basically, what really the status of education in the Philippines? Well, I would say that there is a lack of trained and mature teachers, as I've mentioned, because teachers are having the concept of brain drain, where after they are equipped, they are already a good teacher, the best teacher, they transfer to other places, the other country, to serve their teaching services. And since we are lacking, there are few only going into science education profession, then we have actually lack of trained and mature teacher to teach STEM education. And also, we need, at the moment, there is a need of revolution to our educational system, that STEM is not just a track, but part of a sort of an approach in teaching, wherein there is transdisciplinary approach in offering the STEM education. And so I would like to say that the present STEM education in the Philippines is just in the infancy stage, because we are still on striving how to come up with elevating our STEM education in the Philippines. So our college, the College of Education of MSUIT, is a center of excellence and teacher education, and in fact, is one of the leading university in Mindanao and in the Philippines, as was then as you look at this figure. This is based on Weibometrics as of July to 2020. Our university is ranking about 8. No, we are now in the number 8. Hopefully, we can move in the future. We can move in the higher ranking from, because in earlier years we are number 10, and now we are moving to number 8. Probably, I hope we can also move to higher ranking. And our science education is offering our science education programs are actually offering a straight program from even in the high school to undergraduate and graduate from bachelor's to PhD. And as I mentioned by Professor Salik, that we offer bachelor's degree, master's degree, and a PhD in science education. And with this, we are trying to help how we can improve the STEM education in the Philippines. And with this, with this uh, with this notion on helping creating a source of an expert in the field of science education and can able to translate STEM education into the classes, then we have the College of Education are trying to come up with capability building of our faculty and students. And what we have done in our college is that we try to come up with how to equip with our faculty. And in this case, we invite visiting professors from other places, like in Thailand. This is one of our partner in Konkan University. We invite professors who are expert in the field of STEM education and some other related field to STEM education, in order that our faculty and students being equipped with necessary concept and context of what is STEM education. That's why we have one of the training of our visiting professor, for example, Dr. Chok Chai Yun Yong in Konkan University, our visiting professor, conducted us or come up with some sort of developing a STEM education concepts and utilizing STEM education in our classes. And also other related visiting professor like Dr. Uh, Patanajak, also of Thailand in Konkan University, who is expert in open approach teaching, which is related to STEM education, and also Dr. Metri and some of those who are involved in this developing the capability building of STEM education in our university. We invite them and equip our faculty. Aside from that, we cascade the training to our students to both graduate and undergraduate, especially our prospective teachers in science and mathematics education. And in fact, we have an exchange student from our country, from Mindanao State University in particular, MSUIT, into Konkan University. We exchange students with them so that there is a cultural as well as a sort of how utilization of STEM education is being utilized in their place, in their country, and somehow they can get insight and also bring that insight into our Philippine setting, particularly in our country. And we have a lot of researches related to STEM education, both by our teachers and students. And in fact, some of our students are mentored by our visiting professors in other country, like that in our partner in Konkan University. And there is there is what we call as cross country mentoring. And at the moment, our STEM education, I mean, our prospective teachers are utilizing now STEM education in their teaching. the researches that they have are now being utilized in their classes. And that's actually what we can do at the moment on how to improve STEM education in the Philippines. I hope I have shared something in you about the status, the mandate that we have about STEM education, and our university experience on how we improve STEM education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much.
SMA, penjurusan seperti itu ya.
Jadi kayak ini ya, di Mindanao State University itu kayak punya anak-anak sekolah gitu ya, kayak punya lab school juga. Jadi yang dijelaskan tadi gak hanya di lintas universitas tapi lab schoolnya juga, penerapan STEM di lab schoolnya juga. Ya. Kayak saya mau ngasih feedback sebentar ke Prof. Penny about your curriculum in Philippines. I think that we have a different period in junior high school. I think that the Prof. Penny said that the junior high school have 7, 8, and 9 and 10 grade. Sementara kita, well in Indonesia we have 7, 8, and 9 for junior high school and the 10 grade in senior high school.
Yes. Yeah.
Jadi itu perbedaan sedikit ya.
Sudah jelas lebih maju di sana ya, sudah tertata, sudah apa
sepertinya untuk kadang ada beberapa sekolah yang kita memang sudah ada dijuruskan.
Oh iya.
Cuman kita masih di proses hampir sama lah.
Iya, kurang lebihnya hampir sama. Ya, kemudian memang Mindanao State University ini sudah memberikan apa ya Pak, kapasitas atau memberikan fasilitas untuk seperti apa penerapan STEM di sana. Ya, seperti yang tadi saya bisa ambil ya, seperti ada visiting profesor, kemudian ada pertukaran pelajar, riset STEM terkait STEM yang dilakukan kolaborasi antara guru dan siswanya. Jadi tidak hanya gurunya saja yang di sini diberikan ya. Kemudian ada pertukaran mentor di partner universitas. Jadi ada pertukaran mentor untuk saling memberikan pendidikan STEM di universitas-universitas yang sudah menjadi partnernya.
Gimana Pak? Menarik?
Ya, luar biasa ya.
Yeah, I think it is interesting to know that your university have many activities in the student exchange and research exchange and the partnership in research in the teaching and learning, professor exchange. It is interesting to know that maybe in the future we can collaboration in the some activities for this.
Okay.
Ini yang menarik juga Bu Vina, saya mau the interesting thing that I got is the challenge. Ya, jadi the challenging
of in this era. The first we have the challenge for characteristic of the learner. Jadi tantangannya apa sih untuk sekarang ini? Ternyata tadi dipaparkan oleh Prof. Meni tentang karakteristik dari siswa sekarang atau pembelajar sekarang. Kemudian yang kedua itu ada 21st century skill, keterampilan abad ke-21, and yang ketiga tadi dipaparkan juga ada socio-scientific issue, yaitu isu-isu socio-scientific yang sedang berkembang. Dan yang paling menarik tadi adalah dari paparan Prof. ini adalah STEM approach, STEM is approach, not a track. Jadi sebenarnya jadi pendekatan. Jadi tidak hanya yang belajar PAI itu juga seharusnya paham kalau terkait dengan STEM. Karena STEM itu bukan track atau jurusan saja.
Tidak hanya untuk jurusan IPA, biologi atau
hanya sains aja
ya. Semua bidang ilmu ketika bisa menerapkan STEM ini akan mungkin lebih unggulan.
Karena apa? Karena STEM itu sekarang adalah permasalahan yang ada di dunia sekarang ini seperti COVID dan lain sebagainya itu juga kaitannya dengan sains. Jadi mau tidak mau bidang ilmu yang lain
apapun kita harus bisa
belajar. Jadi
sangat menarik sekali.
Tadi paparannya itu adalah integration of major, jadi integrasi, not only single disciplinary but multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary.
Mungkin ini juga akan menjadi tantangan bagi disiplin ilmu yang selain sains dari agama juga.
Untuk
soalnya STEM itu sendiri kan, STEM itu sendiri kan ada sains, teknologi, kemudian engineering dan matematik. Coba bayangkan anak sosial, disuruh belajar teknologi atau matematik.
Tapi mau tidak mau sekarang mereka belajar.
Ada kaitannya nanti.
Karena ada kaitannya.
Seperti itu Pak. Ada yang ditambahkan lagi?
Sudah mungkin kita sepertinya harus melanjutkan untuk pembicara yang ketiga. Ada siapa?
Ada Dr. Amelia Tibuan yang pada kesempatan ini sudah hadir bersama kita. Kita coba sapa dulu. Good morning,
Dr. Emi. Dr. Emi, hello.
Good morning. Hi. May I share my presentation?
This is your turn.
Okay, thank
This is
you.
your turn. I think that you are ready for your presentation now.
Sepertinya sudah siap.
Sepertinya sudah
Okay,
siap.
good morning.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for our lively host. You're so good on synthesizing each presentation. We are inspired on what you are doing right now. You are trying to maximize the use of technology, helping experts to learn more about STEM education, and then trying to compare what is happening in other countries as well as your country. So this is the key, as what Sir Dedi Nor Jamaluddin a while ago, that collaboration is the key. So as Southeast Asian countries, we can work together as one ASEAN, trying to improve on how do we teach STEM education. So I'd like to share with you on how do we explore our potential of our campus, our city, Iligan City, Philippines, in teaching STEM for global learning. So for everyone, mabuhay. I hope everyone is still up. And this is very exciting. Philippines and Indonesia are working together on how do we improve in delivering and improving STEM education. So again, may I ask all of you to say mabuhay. This is how we say hello to everyone, as well as saying everyone that we are all okay, even though there's COVID, we're still okay, right? So mabuhay, long live everyone, Indonesia and Philippines, on how to improve STEM education. Okay, so in this session, I'm thinking that we will, since we are thinking that we will going to work together as one ASEAN, so we want to identify STEM learning activity for our university and your university to work together And then let's try to compare and know the experience on how do we prepare our future teachers, capacitating them on STEM learning or STEM education and developing STEM learning activities. Okay, so it was stressed a while ago that STEM education is a pedagogical application, design, and engineering technology for teaching content, the application of content and practice in science and mathematics education with the content and practice of educational technology, engineering simultaneously. So STEM education in school setting, even though in general in the Philippines, because we are 100 million, the population is 100 million. So in general, Dr. Mani mentioned that we are still uh, beginning to strengthen our STEM education. But right now we are thinking on how do we teach STEM learning starting from kindergarten up to college. Okay, so even though there are a lot of materials with this, we also have a lot of initiative on STEM subject, but still we are challenged on how do we connect science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in a lesson. Okay, so to do that, as what Dr. Monero Salik and Dr. Manuel Barquilla is stressing, that since we are a leading institution in teacher education, so we try to think about an innovation on how do we teach STEM education. So as we learn from our visiting professor, we just started our visiting professor 2018 and then 2019. And this year, we are thinking about expanding our partner university, and you're part of it. We are expanding more schools in Thailand, and then by next month, maybe we'll have another visitor STEM education from Thailand, as well as a STEM educator from Corten University in Australia. So we will learn more if we're going to try to benchmark to other countries. So that's why I really commend your effort on this, organizing a workshop like this. So students of Indonesia, I hope you're still there. So I hope you find the benefits of your university organizing workshop like this. So for now, starting 2018, we tried to implement this STEM implementation framework so that we could motivate students to work with a problem. So we tried to identify social issue. That's the first step. The second step is identification of potential solution. The third step is need for knowledge. Number 4 is decision making, and then development of the product, test and evaluation of the solution, and then the last stage is socialization and completion stage. So we learned this framework during the visit of Dr. Chokchai, as well as the visit of another math expert, where she introduced open approach. Okay, so I understand Muhammad already shared to us our future research, and then it was very clear that you try to teach STEM as an approach using the 7E approach. So that's why I want to present this to you, our framework on doing STEM education. So actually we have a lot of paper right now. Since 2018, we try to make lesson plans on how do we integrate science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in basic education. So we have some paper, like for this one, I'll try to discuss in this session 3 papers. So one is formulating refreshment drink activity utilizing STEM education among grade 8 learners. The first thing is we will going to identify the social issue. So what the lesson is about, thinking about what's the social issue right now. So the students go out in the classroom and then try to observe what the students are buying during snack time. Okay, so what drink are they choosing during snack time? And the students try to tally what are the student choice when they try to buy for a drink. And then during that survey, students found out that there are a lot of students who try to consume commercial drinks such as cola or other tea drinks, so much of that. So therefore, with this case, the social issue that commercial drinks among students, and it's a health risk among students. So identify the social issues. So let the students go out and then try to find out what's the problem of the community. So in this case, we let the students go to the canteen and use their statistics skill, try to tally what are their common drinks that they choose when they go for a snack or for a lunch or for a dinner. And then we found out that students drink more cola than nutritious drinks. So therefore, we need to think about how do we encourage students to drink natural or nutritious refreshment drink. So either a commercial Coca-Cola, or we need to think about a natural drink where we could use our local fruits or maybe local herbs. So in this case, since these students are general science students, so therefore they are thinking about local herbs, because the class is about herbs in the community, the local herbs in the community. So they try to explore how could use the herbs and the fruits that we have, as well as the available materials that we have in the community, in such a way that we could develop a drink. Okay, and this drink is more delicious and palatable than Coca-Cola. That's the challenge, actually. So to do that, we have a workshop. We let the students do some workshop on branding. So the workshop on business canvas and basic marketing, we have a discussion that with our center, which we call that as the idea. And then students go out to the community and try to collect herbal plants, because their target is it is a nutritious drink. So they try to use the herbal plants among the community. Okay, and then the next step is they have to decide as a group. They have to make a plan. How do we make our refreshment drink palatable to consumers? How do we package our drink in such a way that they will choose our refreshment drink rather than the Coca-Cola? So students are working as a team, so do collaboration, ask expert, maybe discuss it with their classmate, and maybe it is okay or not okay, but it's okay. So they have to decide what type of herb, what type of fruit, what other ingredients do they need to put in their refreshment drink. After that, if they have decided what are the ingredients of their drink, they have to develop the product. So they do trial and error method. So is this okay? And then try to ask consumer, taste their drink, try it out, and then try to revise their ingredients. So, and then they do some testing for their solution. Is their drink really comparable to refreshment drink? And then they try to do this in our lobby, in our college, and then make their drink someday a commercial drink, and then package it so that consumers will prefer the drink. Okay, and then the last one, they have to package it and then present it to future, maybe consumer, or maybe the one who will going to produce their drink. So in this case, you have noticed, if you do these steps in implementing STEM learning activity, you have noticed the science there is the use of herbs in a drink, as well as what are the herbs, what are the parts of the herbs that is more healthy to the consumer, and then think about on what are the appropriate mix of this ingredient. So that's science. The technology there is the process of making the refreshment drink. And then the engineering is they keep redesigning and redesigning the refreshment drink. And the mathematics there at the first step of the problem is when they go to the canteen, try to use their statistics and then identify the problem that's already statistics, but as well as when they try to brand their product, they put some branding, they have to identify the cost. Then as you could see, science, technology, engineering, and math is really applied to real world problem. So that's the relevance of why do we need to capacitate our pre-service, our future teachers on how they will teach STEM in their future class. Okay. Okay, so here the research conclusion of that first research, the process of refreshment activity that promotes thinking, the process of choosing the ingredient, and then preserving the refreshment drink, as well as the branding. Students were challenged and they become creative in thinking about how do they make their product unique and palatable that could be comparable to commercial drink. Okay, so in that way, as could you think about when a student try to do that activity during the process, there are a lot or important 21st century skills being developed. Their communication skill, their critical thinking skill, collaboration skill, as well as other problem-solving skill. Okay, so another research that I want to share to you, this is also done by our student here, implemented in a high school classroom. It's about ice cream STEM education learning activity, inquiry from context. Actually, the first part of their research is to develop the lesson. And then after developing that lesson, they try to implement that in the classroom. This one, their implementation is still in press right now. Maybe it will soon be out by next month, where these teachers trying to develop a lesson that is integrative, where you have the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and the project is about ice cream making. So in science, this is in chemistry. So they try to align it with the topic of colligative properties and freezing point depression. And then in the technology is the process of making innovative, nutritious ice cream. And then in the engineering part here is the design, the process of making an ice cream. And in mathematics is making decision on the right ratio and proportion. Even in mathematics, we just talk about this is ratio, this is proportion, and measurement. How do we convert from cups to from number of cups to ml or watt? But this one is the true application of mathematics. Okay, so as you could see in this activity, some sample student output is the student developed a Kong ice cream. That is apple and kangkong ice cream. Do you know what's apple and kangkong ice cream? Okay, So an apple, and then we have what we call a vegetable, and we call it as kangkong. If you try to research that on the internet, you will see the picture of kangkong, and I'm very sure you have different name that in Indonesia. Another ice cream is guya munggay ice cream, because we have here the guyabano and munggay ice cream, kalamunggay ice cream. Okay. So in this research, in the ice cream activity, allowed students to apply scientific knowledge. They will be able to explain how to make an ice cream and what's science on it. Designing solution provided context of instruction through solving real-world problems through collaborative activity. The study was able to come up with a very good student nutritious ice cream. And maybe if students can package this well, they could make their own flavor of an ice cream, right? So they could propose a flavor, a nutritious flavor of ice cream. So if a person is so conscious about their health, they may eat up kangkong ice cream. Okay. Another paper is about this paper, a linear equation in mathematics. We teach about linear equation in 2 variables, but we try to develop a STEM education learning activity to solve the problem on household power consumption. So the output here is the students will going to propose a calculator app in solving the power consumption of a household. Okay, so that's an application. So this process, a while ago, I have discussed the linear path of developing STEM learning activity. But in this group of researchers, they have found out that the process of developing is not a linear path. And we found out that it is an iterative process in designing learning activity. Still, you will have those important process, identifying social issue. And then if you identify social issue, you can, what you call this, you can go to think about what is the prototype, okay? So plan ahead after planning an issue, and then the teacher should think about what should be the outcome of my student, okay? So, so that if you know what's the outcome of your student, then you can guide your students how to identify potential solution, what knowledge do they need, and then how do they showcase their output, okay? So we found out here in this study that designing a STEM activity is an iterative process, okay? So for example, in the identification of social issue, they will going to present a video on the shortage of electricity in our community, for example, here in Iligan. And then we have to do a rotation of power blackout or brownout. So in this barangay, there will be no electricity on Wednesday at 8 to 12. The next barangay will have no electricity on Friday at 1 to 5. Then that's a problem. So therefore, there's a power shortage. So since we are part of the community, we have to think about how do we help household to what you call this minimize power consumption. So that's how you identify, helping your student how to identify social issues. And as young as maybe high school or grade 7, they could propose a way on how to minimize power consumption in the household, or having an app for that, or maybe a way on how to minimize electricity consumption at home. The second is identification of solution. The students will discuss the reason, cause of paying much on electricity consumption, Maybe students have to list down the consumption of every appliance at home, and then determine the number of hours per day it was being utilized at home. With that, so therefore they could think about, okay, so therefore the common appliance at home are this one, then how could we help them? For example, they are using their electric fan. How could we help them that they could figure out how much electricity will they use if they use the electric fan for 8 hours? Okay, and then need for knowledge. So and in this case, the mathematics teacher and the science teacher will work together. The mathematics teacher will try to discuss linear equation in 2 variables, and in the physics class or in the science class, they will discuss about lesson on conservation of energy. Okay, and then decision making, they have to investigate the electricity consumption in every household and what appliance do they have, and then they have to set up an equation for the solution of their issue. Okay, and then they will develop the prototype, their app, and then they will going to share it with their community. So with that research, we found out that the development of STEM lesson plans requires a thorough process of planning. You have to think about, if this is my lesson now, linear equation, and then what is the lesson of my colleague in other subject area? For example, in science, what's the lesson of my student in computer classes, computer ed classes? So can we talk together and think about one lesson plan that this 3 subject area could use? So therefore, designing a STEM lesson plan requires a thorough process of planning. Okay, and then it's worth of doing it, because as you could see in my previous sharing, it will really develop the important 21st century skills, because it is embedded along the process of designing the lesson. And then the context of the activity is very important, because it will motivate, the students will be motivated to solve the problem in the community, rather than teaching linear equation in 2 unknowns in a traditional classroom. Okay, so that make it more interesting if we use STEM lesson activity in our classroom. So in our case, we are thinking about Indonesia and Philippines are thinking about working together. Maybe we were going to think about one STEM learning activity that we could develop, and then try to identify what are the resources in Indonesia, what are the experience of the learners here, as well as in the Philippines, what are the experience of the learners, what are their situation right now in COVID-19 pandemic. So let's try to think about, make decision on a doable task for both of our countries. And then we have to think about the task, this task, since it is our pre-service students who will do with this activity, because they have to experience as a student in doing STEM learning activity so that they could teach it in the future, right? So therefore, we need to identify a task, an activity that will empower pre-service teachers of Indonesia and Philippines to assume active roles, both local and globally, in building more peaceful and inclusive society. Okay, so looking forward for our cross-country collaboration. So the key is we will work together. We will try to design a STEM learning activity where Indonesia, your university and our university will have to work together on designing a STEM learning activity. And it is very interesting to know what are the experience of our pre-service teachers. Okay, so looking forward in working with you, and thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to share on what we are doing here in the Philippines, specifically in our university. Again, mabuhay, and good afternoon, good morning, everyone.
mencoba untuk menjelaskan gimana sih proses STEM-nya, proses awalnya itu gimana?
Ya, dimulai dari apa Pak Yudi ya?
Dari identifikasi isu sosial. Tadi beliau ngambil contoh itu antara minuman komersial, mungkin di kita itu kayak maaf ya, minuman soda lah yang
iya.
saya nggak boleh sebut merek.
Oh tidak boleh, nanti kita kena ini Pak.
Minuman soda itu kayaknya kan menurut kesehatan bagi beliau itu nggak baik. Ya. Itu menimbulkan berpotensi untuk mengurangi kesehatan. So the challenge is bagaimana caranya
minuman soda
untuk mengurangi
mengurangi
minuman soda ke minuman yang lain. Jadi solusinya
mengalihkan yang minuman soda ke minuman yang lebih baik.
Jadi solusi alternatifnya adalah mencoba mengalihkan dari minuman soda ke minuman yang lebih natural, mungkin jus atau mungkin apa gitu. Jadi saya tantangan STEM-nya adalah membuat produk yang bisa diterima oleh
berdasarkan isu yang
itu hasil akhirnya ya berupa produk berarti.
Ada tambahan lain Pak Imam? Pak
jadi it is clear that Dr. Amy said about the STEM framework. First, we have to know about we have to identify the social issue first, and then identification of potential solution. Jadi di sini ada dua hal yang harus dikerjakan pertama kali, yaitu mengidentifikasi isu yang ada di sekitar kita, sama potensinya apa solusinya.
Bisa memecahkan isu itu.
Yeah, and it is interesting that in the last step in the STEM education, STEM learning that Dr. Duan present is socialization, and jadi ada proses sosialisasi produknya, kemudian ada proses uji coba juga.
Harus uji coba juga.
Oh ya, tentunya itu tadi masalah minuman komersial itu masalah di sana ya mungkin ya. Kalau kita
mungkin nanti akan disesuaikan untuk wilayah masing-masing. Seperti apa isu yang sedang berkembang. Ada tambahan Pak Yudi? Cukup,
tapi ini kita masuk ke sesi yang ketiga. Silakan dikatakan.
Oh iya, ada. Untuk sesi yang keempat, yaitu kita masuk ke sesi tanya jawab atau discussion. Yeah.
So in this session, this is the fourth session for our meeting. We have a discussion session, and
we have some questions from our students.
Yang nanti akan kita ambil beberapa yang nanti bisa dijawab langsung oleh narasumber kita. Mungkin yang pertama, kita bisa bacakan dari Kadris IPA. Umi Nur Alfi, bagaimana cara mengeksplorasi potensi lokal untuk pembelajaran dengan wawasan global pembelajaran STEM? Nah, mungkin ininya gini. Kita kan harus peka terhadap lingkungan seperti apa isu yang sekarang. Mungkin ada trik nggak dari para pembicara ini untuk kita bisa peka sebenarnya potensi lokal kita apa? Bagaimana untuk kita bisa maksimal mengeksplor potensi lokal ini sedemikian bisa mengangkat sebagai sebuah wawasan global dengan pembelajaran berbasis STEM.
Okay, for the three speakers, for Dr. Amy, or Dr. Neni, or Dr. Moira, our student. This is the first question from our student. The student asked about the tips or the trick for exploring local potential that we can design for our learning. Potential, local potential to the global STEM learning. Dr.
Okay.
Can answer.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Our student.
That's a very good question. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe because they are thinking about as a pre-service teachers, and then we are in different community, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, what you will do is try to wherever your school is located, try to think about or have a survey on what are the resources of their community and what are the real world problems that students could participate to solve. Like for example, in our barangay right now, we have a problem with our waste or with our garbage. So that is identification of a problem, and that is a local context problem. And then, as a teacher, you must be very creative on how do we explore, exploring some solution first as a teacher on how to solve the problem. Because you will be at a loss in implementing a STEM lesson plan, and you don't know as a teacher what could be the possible solution to the problem. We cannot guide our students on solving the problem if we don't know the solution. So the first task that we will do is try to survey your own community and then try to think about, this could be a possible solution. And my students could do it. I have to guide them in the process. And then the good thing about the STEM lesson plan or designing a STEM lesson plan, we are not up to the product. We are up to the process, from identifying possible solution to the problem, trying to identify some resources that could help them to solve the problem. Maybe interview some community members or interview some experts on the possible solution. Trying to use maybe the prototype, developing the prototype, and then try to test the prototype, and then, if it fails, then I'll try to do it again. Doing it again is not a failure. It is the process of developing an important engineering skill. So therefore, just start with what resources do my students have in the community, and then how could I solve the problem as a teacher? Or can I identify possible solution? And then can my students do this possible solution? And then guide your students along the way. Okay? So that's a very challenging question, and I hope I have answered your question.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Amelia. Mungkin
Jadi tadi kalau misalkan saya sedikit review ya, jadi penjelasannya itu pertama kali adalah coba kenali lingkungan sekitar di mana tempat siswa itu tinggal, yaitu location at your school or your institution or the student live. Ya. Kemudian setelah itu jadi dari situ akan ada masalah apa gitu dari tempat tinggal kita, kemudian coba cari solusinya. Jadi
tetap budaya literasi dari isu yang ada untuk bisa kita sambungkan ke teori-teori yang bisa nanti memecahkan masalah itu.
Ya, jadi tadi yang menarik dari Mami itu adalah ada konsultasi ke yang ahli, ya. You have to have session in consultation with the expert, ya. Jadi ada konsultasi dengan ahli ketika itu terkait dengan produk atau sesuatu yang akan dibuat.
Ya. Bisa saja ini sekaligus kolaborasi dengan siapa yang sekiranya dianggap kompeten dalam hal itu untuk bisa menciptakan produk yang akan dibuat.
I think that's STEM learning sesuai ya. Jadi itu ya. Jadi STEM learning itu adalah untuk menghadapi abad ke-21 ini sangat tepat sekali.
Apalagi untuk ke depan gitu ya. Jelas ini sangat berguna sekali. Ya.
Menarik.
Mungkin kita cukupkan pertanyaan pertama, kita lanjut ke pertanyaan selanjutnya.
I have second question. This from Miss Tianisi. From Mathematics Education Study Program. The question is how and as you prepare the students so become student that competent in STEM.
Ya, seperti apa mungkin tips dan triksnya yang dilakukan dosen di sana untuk bisa menciptakan siswanya yang siap tantangan
yang mempunyai kompetensi dalam STEM.
pembelajaran STEM.
Yeah. Maybe one of the speakers can answer about our question about how to make the student, especially in MSU, for facing STEM education in the future. Yes.
Yes, akan mencoba dijawab oleh siapa? Prof. Manuel?
Or Monera maybe?
Or yes, silakan.
Okay. Hello. Yes. The question is how we prepare our prospective teachers to STEM education. I think that's the question. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
I
Prof.
guess ceremony. That's the question.
Yeah, that's the question.
Okay. Okay. So our students are actually educators. They are teaching in high school and elementary, and since we are now on the in the age where um, STEM education is very necessary for sustainable development. Uh, we prepare our students prior to their, for example, prior to their practice teaching. We have a lot of trainings, like we prepare them to be part. For example, in one of their subject, uh, teaching, for example, in my course, teaching for teaching biology for secondary high school. I actually have developed, I trained them on how to develop a lesson plan that is aligned to STEM education. And we are also training them about inquiry-based approach in teaching. And so when they are now in the practice teaching, most of their I mean, and also they have since there is also research, they are required to have research in education. Their research proposal and researches are actually developing, most of them are developing strategy in teaching and somehow STEM education in the process. And with that, they are equipping themselves to develop the skills in develop their skills in how to come up with a lesson in utilizing STEM education. Ma'am Ami, you can add, or Ma'am Monera?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Miss.
Hello. Yeah, so, yeah, in addition to Dr. Ferdy, we train our students we prepare our students to STEM education by integrating to some of our subjects. For example, in my case, because I'm handling um, practice teaching, so one of my lesson coding is about STEM education. So I give them some orientation aside for the trainings that we have conducted, aside for uh, the research paper that they are doing, because some of our students, as Dr. Buan, our Dean, mentioned a while ago that actually the STEM was started during the time of Dr. Chai, which uh, who was our visiting professor last 2018, and he conducted a training or workshop, 1 week training on STEM education, how to prepare a STEM lesson. So with that, we have obtained those steps or those stages discussed by Dr. Ami. And some of our students, for example, in the masteral, we really encourage them to make a study or make a research about STEM, and then we guide them. And then, for example, in I have three masteral students who conducted their masteral. Title, for example, of their thesis is um, what is this? Contextualized STEM lesson in teaching biodiversity among second year students, or contextualized STEM lesson on teaching global warming and greenhouse effects. So those are some studies that our students have conducted. So we really encourage them, we motivate them to do a STEM lesson, to implement this STEM education here here in IIT, and of course in the Philippines in general. I think Ma'am Ami can add also.
Hello.
Halo.
Uh, Hello, Muhammad and the team. I have read some question here on the chat, and I tried to Google Translate this one, and then I can see that your students are asking on the challenges in implementing STEM learning, as well as the tips for students, for lazy students in doing STEM learning activity, right? So they are also asking in that. As mentioned by Dr. Monera and Dr. Mani on how do we prepare our future teachers on doing STEM learning activity, they have discussed it very well on how do we prepare our students. And as they do their practice teaching, and as we also observe them what happened during their teaching in actual classroom, we found it very challenging on step one. Step two, identifying possible solution, because in step one, identifying the problem is a teacher task. And then for now, it's a teacher task, but maybe someday we could ask our student to, they will be the one to find their own problem in the computer. Identifying possible solution is very challenging to monitor when they talk, because some groups are not discussing it well, because students need to learn the skill on how to ask a good question in the team so that they will solve the problem. And as well as they need help. That's why the importance of a teacher, even though they work together collaboratively, teachers should be ready to support them when they brainstorm, because sometimes their questions are not so deep where you cannot guide them to understand the deep science concept or mathematics concept. As well as another challenge is how do you guide them in such a way that the way they ask question will also progress to deep thinking. Okay, so you cannot solve that problem in one implementation of STEM learning activity. You need to develop that skill, maybe for second implementation or third implementation. The tip is don't give up with students, training them how to ask a good question, and as well as identifying a good answer on that. Another very challenging to guide is when they already make their possible solution, their prototype, and then when the teacher, because part of the process, they have to test it, and then when their first prototype failed, they stop. And that's not a good indicator of being a scientist or engineer, right? That's why, as you could see in the study of Dr. Mani a while ago, when he presented the data that there are less number of students who are interested in STEM. It's because it really needs a teacher to tell the student that it's okay to fail. You can do it again, right? and then learn the concept deeply. So that's one of the challenges actually, and it takes more implementation that a teacher could learn how to motivate students to proceed with that challenging task. Remember, implementing STEM learning activity is already challenging, and then students are not get used with it because they are get used with studying one lesson at a time. But studying several concepts at a time, they need more help. Okay? And then, what are our tips for lazy learners? The tips for lazy learners is a teacher should not give up. Keep helping students how to move forward in their project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Eh, ada tiga jawaban dari Dokter Amelia, Profesor dan Dokter Monera yang masing-masing
punya versi,
punya versi dan saling sepakat lah antaranya. Seperti apa tipsnya untuk mungkin sedikit bisa kita singgung terkait tips yang sering disampaikan yang menjadikan garis bawah.
Don't give up, never give up ya. Jangan putus asa.
Ya, selalu berikan motivasi kepada siswa kita.
Kayak pesannya Mr. Sakda kemarin.
Oh iya, hampir sama ya.
Berikanlah semua untuk siswa.
Lakukan
semuanya untuk siswa.
Oke, tapi saya tadi menangkap hal yang menarik dari kita ya, perbedaan antara Filipina dengan Indonesia. Sebenarnya I wanna ask the question for Ma'am Ami or maybe Prof. Many or Dr. Omar about the implementation of STEM learning in the school. In our country, many teachers are. I think that the implementation of STEM learning is problem for some teachers. First, because time allocation. So I think that if we want to implement the STEM learning, we need long time. So that make our teacher lazy or maybe have a trouble for implementing STEM learning. How about in the Philippines? How about the Philippines? The teachers Philippine for implementing STEM learning in the classroom. Because in the Indonesia we have a problem about the time allocation of science or maybe mathematics. We just have a short time, and the STEM implementation, I think that it needs long time.
Or maybe in Philippines have time allocation more.
Oh yeah, maybe for your information, in our curriculum, in Indonesian curriculum, we have a subject addition. Jadi kita punya beberapa tambahan mata pelajaran, like religion, or maybe akhlak, or maybe apa lagi Pak, fikih. So we have so many subjects in the school. How about in the Philippines? It is the challenge for teacher in STEM implementation in the classroom, or maybe you can give us the advice for the teacher who want to implement the STEM in the classroom.
Okay, Dr.
Once
Monera.
again, good afternoon. Maybe we can do it in an online or in a virtual because it is so right now it's very difficult if we will visit here in our country or if we will go to your country. But if we have the MOA and then the memorandum of understanding, we can do that. We can do it by virtual, by online. Maybe that could be included in our MOU. I think Dr. Barkelia will have some additional to what.
Okay. In the Philippines, yes, we understand that there are actually a lot of subjects aside from science, no. But in what we do, what I teach to the students is that since there are a lot of subjects and the topic is, for example, in biology, and remember that STEM education is an integrated. That means you need to cooperate with your math teacher, your English teacher, and other teachers that are involved in the developing of the STEM lesson. So in that case, the teachers should convene, and they have to identify topics that this particular topics is somehow related to this particular lesson, and therefore the lesson for all subjects, I mean the time for all subjects that is actually intended for them can be allocated in developing the STEM lesson. So basically, it's not that the lesson, it's not only for lesson for mathematics, lesson for science, lesson for research, but actually it's actually the lesson is integrative, and therefore the subject, I mean the time allocated can be taken from other subject. So what I'm trying to say is that the subject teachers should come together. They have to convene, and then after convening, they have to identify how many hours can be used in this particular lesson. And the lesson that is, I mean, the time that is used in every subject can be allocated in developing the lesson. But definitely, the lesson that is learned from the STEM lesson are actually also diluted in the subjects that is in the science, in the language, and in the mathematics also, and also in research in that case. Since we have subject in science, math, English, research, so those time in research, or those time that is used by this subject can be lumped together, and the STEM lesson that is utilized, the STEM lesson that is utilized can be utilized in that time allocated for those subjects. So what's important is that maybe there must be a collaboration also of the teachers in the subject, so that they can implement the STEM lesson. I hope it answers my question. It answers your question. That's how we do it in the Philippines. We collaborate with other teachers, and then we try to map what are the subject or the topic that is allocated in this particular STEM lesson. And so we allocate those topic. So those topic are now incorporated in the STEM lesson, and those time allocated for that particular topic can now be used in the implementation of the STEM lesson. Did I answer the question, Ahmad? Hello. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Gimana Pak Hendy? Mungkin ada.
Maybe I have a last question for all of the speakers. The last question for all of this general question maybe. What do you think about education in Indonesia? What is your comment? Maybe they have an advice for us in Indonesia. Different perspective that we can know about the foreigner, yeah. The opinion of the foreigner about the Indonesian education. Okay, all of you.
I know. Yeah. I know. Am I right, Muhammad, that for now, for Indonesia, you are not welcome that foreigner could enroll to university? Is that what you are asking us to comment?
Yeah. About your opinion
Am
about
I right? Oh, good. Because we have discussed that with our meeting with our we have a project with Erasmus, and then one of our partners are two universities from Indonesia, and they've been discussing that Indonesia right now, your university in Indonesia, you are not allowing any international student to enroll in your university. And I'm so sure you are sad with that. It's because in our case, maybe your leader have a good reason with that because I guess that COVID-19 really shoot up with the number of cases, and your leader is thinking about everyone's welfare. We want to take care of every citizen in Indonesia. I guess they have your leaders have a good reason with that. In our case, especially in our university, we're taking COVID-19 as an opportunity, like accepting students. Like that's why Dr. Monera is really passionate about telling you what are the courses in our university, because it is now an opportunity for you to enroll in our course online. So therefore, there will be no barrier now for a university. We just need to straighten up our on how do we welcome international students. So maybe your leaders have a good reason with that. In our case, we also have different take on this situation. So actually, this is what we call creativity. So we have different solution in every problem. So if your country is thinking about your welfare and that's your solution, and then let us just respect that solution. But our country have different way of taking this case. We're taking this opportunity, this pandemic. We'll have an opportunity that we could take students outside our country because we are now designing our lessons to be delivered online. And like what we are doing now, we are maximizing the use of technology. That there is no barrier that we could learn if we use appropriately technology in the things that we do as a faculty or staff professor in a university. Okay, so in this case, even though there's pandemic, the world is flat, so we could still continue. And then promoting collaboration, cross-country collaboration is the best way of doing it. And I'm really so thankful for all of you, for your university, because based on what I can say that in your energy, all of you there are so passionate on how to work with them.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
Maybe you can maybe for the next talk or we for the next talk maybe or maybe Dr. Moda, maybe you can give us maybe for closing statement for this meeting.
Dr.
Monera for closing statement in our meeting today. Marina. Okay, Dr. Monera. Closing statement for our meeting today with me.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What's your question?
Please give us the
What's your
feedback
question?
or closing statement for our meeting today. Maybe just closing statement.
Mamonero, they are asking what's our impression for our meeting today.
Impression.
Impression, ma'am. Impression.
Impression. Oh my God, I'm so sorry because I can't hear your voice. So anyway, clarification was that I'm so happy with this cross collaboration, and maybe this is personally, I am so happy because I'm meeting you because you are a Muslim like me, and then I really want to promote our program that maybe someday you can enroll here in our master's degree or in our PhD degree. So I'm hoping for more collaboration with your school and to our school. And thank you so much, Sir Muhammad, and to all the management of this school for allowing us to have with this collaboration. And I would like also to acknowledge Dr. Manny Baratilia because I think without Dr. Baratilia, I am not here because I cannot connect with you without Dr. Manny and of course our beloved Dean. So thank you Dr. Ali and Dr. Manny for allowing me to participate in this activity. Once again, thank you so much and Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Maybe for the last from committee, maybe you can give us your impression or maybe your closing statement for our meeting today.
Okay, this is a nice activity, and I think uh, the intention is very good, in which we can share our own culture, our own activities here in our school, and your activity there. And it's nice that we talk together despite of this COVID, because this is one way of also helping us. This is a learning activity in such case. I hope this collaboration will not just end in this activity, but continue not only in this year, in this semester, but maybe we have a connection year, every year, so that we can have some sort of many research probably, and also we can learn from each other's activity. And I would like to thank the officials of your school and to Muhammad, who actually always having a sort of messaging me through messenger, and asking me about collaboration. And I see the real collaboration now. We are now collaborating each other, and hopefully we can collaborate on research, on teaching activities and learning activities. That's all, and thank you to all of you there, from all of us here. We are very thankful that we have this collaboration.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe I have one
God bless
question
to
for
all.
Mr. Manny. Mr. Manny. Mr. Manny.
Yes, yes.
What
Yes.
is what
Okay.
is thank you in Philippine language?
Thank you.
Thank you. It's salamat.
What?
How
What
to
is
say
it? I
thank
cannot
you
hear
in
you. Sorry.
Philippine?
Hello.
Thank you. Salamat.
Salamat.
Salamat is thank you in our place,
Selamat.
in our
Thank you.
country.
Terima kasih.
Salamat means thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sedikit sharing ya. I wanna share my first impression to all of you in Indonesia University. I think that all of you, Dr. Monera, Dr. Emi, everybody is so friendly people. Jadi they are I impressed with the hospitality, their hospitality. Jadi mereka sangat apa ya, ramah sekali ya kepada
Walaupun dengan orang
iya,
yang
walaupun dengan kita
Iya.
yang baru saja dikenal.
beda negara gitu, tidak banyak bersinggungan,
Iya.
tapi sangat welcome dengan kita.
We want to say thank you very much for the realization of our collaboration today. Dan apalagi, we want to say apologize
Yeah.
because we have a trouble with the connection, we have a trouble with the system, with time.
Very long.
Yeah, this is our first collaboration.
Yes.
And in the next session, we have a collaboration again maybe with MSU.
Next time maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for seminar maybe or
Yeah.
in September of
Harapan
October.
besar.
Harapan besar.
Iya, harapan
We don't
besar.
know.
Baik. Ya.
Maybe the before the last session.
Yeah,
we
before
have
closing, we have
take a picture
together.
together.
Yeah, for Prof. Manny, Prof. Amelia Tibuan, and Dr. Moira, before we closing this event, we want to take a picture with all of you and for our students.
Yes.
Yeah.
Untuk semua mahasiswa bisa diaktifkan videonya untuk kita bisa mendokumentasikan kegiatan ini bersama Filipina.
Yeah, please for our student turn on your video. We want to take a picture with the speakers from the Philippine University.
Ya, sudah tampil di layar kita. Inilah semua mahasiswa kita.
We have 284 students.
289. 4.
Ya,
Show your smile.
4
lebih
mahasiswa.
mungkin ya.
Iya, karena ada
Show your
beberapa yang
smile.
mungkin belum ini ya.
Mungkin
Ya.
yang kameranya masih gelap ya.
Yeah.
Ini ada berapa slide? 11 ya, sama seperti kemarin. Kita siapkan dulu untuk slide pertama.
Please turn
Ya.
on your video, all of you, all of students. Please
Ini
turn on your video.
ketiga narasumber kita sudah siap sepertinya.
Ya.
Nah, Pak Didi masih preparing.
Yeah.
Bu
We
Ulia,
are still preparing
Bu
our
Yuni,
stuff.
ada nggak di slide pertama?
Yeah. Please turn on your video.
Nah, nggak ada. The next slide maybe Bu Nelly. Nah, kita ini.
Ya, kita mau cari gaya dulu.
Sudah
Sudah
siap?
siap? The operator will be
Atau mungkin karena ini yang terakhir.
Iya.
Ini
Oh iya, nggak muat Pak layar. Oke, kita mulai saja
Kita mulai saja ya, for
Ketiga narasumber
taking
kita sudah
picture.
siap. Ya.
in the
Oke. Hitung ya. 3, 2, 1. Oke, the next slide. Silahkan yang slide kedua bisa siap-siap untuk berfoto sebagai dokumentasi. Sudah Mas? 3, 2, 1. Oke, slide ketiga. 3, 2, 1. Oke, selanjutnya ada slide keempat. Silakan. 3, 2, 1. Slide kelima. Nah, silahkan dirapi-rapikan dulu jilbabnya, rambutnya yang dari tadi.
mungkin ini ya Bu, cari background yang bagus.
Oke, siap ya? 3, 2, 1.
Senyum.
Slide ke-6. 3, 2, 1. Slide ke-7. 1, 2, 3. Iya. Wow. Ada yang masih semangat ternyata ya. Selanjutnya slide ke-8. Ada yang berdua, ada yang bertiga. 1, 2, 3. Ya. The next slide. Slide ke-9, 1, 2, 3. Walaupun masih ada beberapa yang menutup kameranya. Sudah selesai? Oke, sepertinya sudah selesai untuk sesi dokumentasi.
Yeah, we have 11 slides.
Ya, ada 11 slide yang hari ini mengikuti acara kita.
Yeah.
The next session kesimpulan.
Kesimpulannya gimana?
Kesimpulannya, ya kita akan mencoba memberikan apa ya?
Masing-masing kesimpulan versi kita ya.
Oh, gitu ya. Ada garis merah yang harus poin penting yang harus diambil oleh mahasiswa kita. Ya, jadi jangan di mana STEM ini diberlakukan di Filipina itu tidak semata-mata hanya ingin mengatasi sebuah masalah saja, namun harus ada kerjasama dari pihak sekolah untuk bagaimana memfasilitasi pembelajaran itu, bagaimana memotivasi selain guru dan siswanya ini harus bisa berkolaborasi untuk bisa bekerja sama menerapkan STEM. Ya, kemudian ya harus peka terhadap lingkungan untuk bagaimana bisa menimbulkan isu-isu yang bisa diangkat sebagai global learning atau pembelajaran global, sedangkan bisa diterapkan dalam STEM learning. Oke, silakan.
Gimana? Kalau saya simpel aja.
Ya.
STEM itu menarik.
Wow.
Gitu.
Karena hari ini didukung dengan ternyata beberapa narasumber kita yang menjelaskan tentang STEM itu, ternyata mereka menarik semua gitu.
Exciting ya.
Excited semua.
Oke.
Jadi bikin kita tertarik dan semangat belajar untuk semangat mempelajari STEM agar bisa diterapkan di pembelajaran yang akan
datang.
Okay, it is interesting to know that we are in the last day, ini the third day, the last day for our online fieldwork lecture, and I am so impressed with the potential of our collaboration with Indigenous STEM University in the future, and apalagi ya, kalau dari saya, I think that STEM education is the potential field that we can develop together with IAIN Kudus and Indigenous STEM University Philippine Institute of Technology. Maybe one day we can collaborasi in exchange student or maybe lecture exchange.
Wow, exciting sekali ya.
Yeah,
Ada harapan
I hope we can go to the Philippines.
Wow,
we wanna go to Philippine.
Iya, untuk menempuh doktoral ya.
Sure.
Harapan besar untuk kita bisa berkolaborasi dengan Mindanao State University dan IAIN Kudus, dan selanjutnya nanti bisa untuk manfaat untuk kedua belah pihak gitu ya.
Ini sepertinya sudah sesi yang terakhir. The last session. Sepertinya biasanya mungkin ada pantun itu. Ada pantun nggak sih?
Ada yang merasa fenomena. Aduh, apa ya Pak? Kayaknya
belum ya. Belum.
Biar
Pak Henry.
anak perpisahan kan biasanya sedih gitu ya. Jadi
Apa Pak? Pak Imad ya.
Wah, itu saya nggak punya.
Aduh, iya.
Berarti kita sambung. Ingat ya untuk para mahasiswa, ini bukan akhir untuk KKL ini. Hanya this is just for the last session in online fieldwork, but you have to
ada sesuatu yang
something
kegiatan untuk kita bisa lakukan di program KKL.
Ya, jadi ini bukan terakhir untuk mahasiswa. Nanti we will get some session with our student after this event. And for the speakers, we want to say thank you for your participation today and Mabuhay selamat. Ya, Mabuhay selamat for all of you in the Philippines. Kita akhiri dengan bacaan alhamdulillah bersama-sama terlebih dahulu.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning. Putar slide.
Kudus, salah satu kabupaten di wilayah Jawa Tengah yang memiliki julukan kota kretek atau kota santri. Kudus terkenal dengan falsafah Gus Digangnya yang menjadi pedoman hidup mayoritas warganya. Gus memiliki makna budi pekerti yang bagus. Ji berarti pandai mengaji. Gang yang menunjukkan bagaimana masyarakatnya pintar berdagang. Kudus erat dengan napak tilas Wali Songo yang menyebarkan Islam di tanah Jawa, yaitu Sunan Kudus dan Sunan Muria. Tidak hanya pada perekonomiannya, Kudus juga menjadi daerah yang berkembang pesat di bidang pendidikan. IAIN Kudus menjadi institusi pendidikan bernuansa Islam yang menjawab tantangan semakin pesatnya perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi yang ada. Sebagai salah satu perguruan tinggi Islam negeri, IAIN Kudus hadir dengan visi menjadi perguruan tinggi Islam unggul di bidang pengembangan ilmu Islam terapan. Menggali potensi yang ada serta menilik kebutuhan masyarakat akan peningkatan kualitas pendidikan terutama bidang sains, IAIN Kudus menyelenggarakan program studi S1 Tadris Ilmu Pengetahuan Alam pada Fakultas Tarbiyah. Prodi Tadris IPA ini meramu visi keilmuannya untuk menjadi program studi yang unggul dan kompetitif dalam pengembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi di bidang pendidikan IPA yang berorientasi pada penguasaan keterampilan abad ke-21 serta berwawasan Islam terapan yang humanis, aplikatif, dan produktif. Tadris IPA berupaya mencetak sarjana pendidikan IPA yang akan menjadi pendidik IPA yang profesional, tenaga laboran IPA, pengembang bahan ajar IPA, serta entrepreneurship yang relevan dengan bidang keIPA-an. Tadris IPA menghadirkan program-program pendidikan yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan pendidikan IPA di abad ke-21, studi penelitian yang relevan dengan kajian strategi nasional maupun internasional, serta aktivitas pengabdian masyarakat di bidang kependidikan IPA. Dalam penyelenggaraannya, Prodi Tadris IPA dilengkapi dengan beragam sarana dan prasarana yang representatif dan mampu menunjang beragam keterampilan para calon pendidik IPA di masa depan. Ruang kelas yang nyaman, serta fasilitas-fasilitas laboratorium yang ada, menjadikan penyelenggaraan Tridharma bidang pendidikan IPA begitu kondusif dan progresif. Ragam laboratorium keIPA-an yang ada terdiri dari laboratorium biologi, laboratorium fisika, laboratorium kimia, serta laboratorium alam. Laboratorium-laboratorium ini ditunjang dengan berbagai peralatan dan bahan untuk proses perkuliahan yang berbasis praktikum. Aktivitas praktik bidang biologi, fisika, kimia, maupun IPA terpadu dihadirkan untuk mengasah skill para mahasiswanya sehingga di masa mendatang lulusan Prodi Tadris IPA siap dan terampil dalam pengelolaan laboratorium. Di laboratorium bidang IPA, laboratorium teaching dihadirkan untuk melatih dan menyiapkan guru IPA untuk menata berbagai wawasan dan pengetahuan yang diperolehnya selama perkuliahan. Dukungan perpustakaan sebagai sumber belajar mahasiswa juga dioptimalkan dalam proses pembelajaran di Prodi Tadris IPA. Beragam referensi dan dukungan jaringan internet yang ada menjadikan mahasiswa nyaman untuk